Hello and welcome to part 3 and our final episode of the Spen Valley line. If you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, please do go back and watch them before you watch this. So we've covered between Murfield towards Heckmondwike and Heckmondwike towards Cleckheaton in part 2. Now in today's episode we're going to be following on from Cleckheaton Central railway station all the way up to Low Moor. In today's video we'll be following the route in our final episode of the Spen Valley line between the site of the Cleckheaton Central railway station towards the terminus, which would have come to a triangle at the Low Moor. So we'll also be taking a look around the history around the triangle of the old Low Moor station. Now we're at the site of the Cleckheaton Central railway station, which has got some fascinating history behind it. So this station opened when the line opened in 1847 and it closed on the 14th of June 1965 to passengers before closing in 1969. I can see the Cleckheaton station is now just a site of a Tesco. All that over there would have been some extensive goods sidings that you can see on the maps. I've also got a photograph that does actually show what this used to look like back in its heyday. So where the car park is would have been where the goods siding was, and also there'd have been a goods shed located just somewhere over there. Now to the left here would have been an island platform with the main station buildings just being slightly further along. I believe this hump here you could just see is whereabouts the island platform would have been. You can actually see remnants. Now the overgrowth kind of covers it up, but you can see some slight remnants, believing that the station buildings were here somewhere, and it would have gone all the way over to about here. It did actually have 2 platforms. There would have been another one on the side just here. Now I believe that the other station platform was located to the left here, so they've long since been demolished. We do have some old railway memorabilia here. An old cable fence post. You've got these stone posts there, and there's still a few remains of some metal wiring just there, you can see. Now this looks like a view of what we probably would have been looking at in this photo, with the 2 station buildings on either side. Here would have been the main track bed leading in towards the station. That's looking back towards Low Moor. There would have been a spur off somewhere here going in towards the goods shed and the goods siding. So just going to show you the site of where the entry was into the station. Still got a lot of old railway memorabilia just on the outside of the station leading in towards the entrance. Load of old fence posts. You can tell that this is all stone railway walling. These coping stones at the top. So I believe down here would have been the entrance into the station. So you've got two bridges, substantial bridges, built out of stone. And you've got some brick lining in the centre, and all these, I believe these were the original steel bridges, because you can see they're riveted at the top before all the welding came in. So you've got another one that looks the same. And I do believe that this here is a bricked up entrance to the station. So there would have been some sort of entry in up onto the platform. There's the other bridge. You can see the riveted steel. We've also got this original, looks like some kind of iron post. I think it was just some kind of artwork for the entry in. Now we've just come slightly further up the road, found this old, looks like a railway bridge, so Toffs Road. Now there is access off the road leading down onto the Greenway, and it does look like here we've got some old railway sleepers that have been used to create steps up and down towards the Greenway. I look from the top of the bridge, I believe that was the entry in. So I'm guessing that there would potentially been some stairs that led up underneath here, because we found what looks like remains of a blocked up archway or a bridge here, so I'm guessing that there would have been some kind of entry in. The stairway would have gone down and out onto the road that I've just been to. But you can see the top of the arch, the brick lined arch. Is it brick? And then this metal cap just at the top. And around here would have been the main goods shed and the sidings to the left up here. Now after the station had closed, all the station platforms and everything had all been demolished, but there was a lot of remains that was left behind. Now this station was actually called the station that was stolen, and you're going to probably ask, what do you mean by that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain why this station was basically, well, they say they stole it. In 1968, British Rail demolished all the passenger station buildings. However, one of the island platforms still remained in situ for a few years after. In 1972, a man from Dewsbury appeared at Wakefield Crown Court because he was accused of stealing all the stone, timber and metal, all the chairs and even the buffer stops from the site. So back in August 1971, British Rail had made a contract with another contractor to clear the site, and had permission to sell everything and retain the proceeds from disposal of the materials and any of the scraps. And once they had arrived, they discovered that the station and all the material had already gone. It appears that the defendant had been contracted by another company to clear the site, and after he had been given an advance sum to hire the plant equipment, he had spent around 3 weeks clearing the site of the station, and efforts to trace the second firm had failed. Now the court had found this man not guilty because they decided that he'd been duped and left out of pocket after he had actually spent a lot of his own money on equipment to clear the site. The case had really come to that this man had effectively stolen Cleckheaton Station. Interesting story. Anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to head on towards Low Moor from Cleckheaton Central Station, see what we'll come across. Still got here to the left a retaining wall to the boundary of the railway, this being the main track bed, and our spur would have headed off to the right here in towards the goods shed. This would have been where the spur off headed in towards the goods side, and you can see here how abandoned the land is. You can see the retaining wall in the back over there, looks like old railway walling. So yeah, the goods shed, I guess, would have been just over there, and the tracks would have led in this way, and that way would have been towards the main station. You can see a burnt out railway sleeper just down there, and by the looks of it we've got another one here. The track bed would have been to the left of me just here, so they've actually, there was obviously double track, so this would have been the main track bed under the bridge. They've obviously heightened up the greenway. Look how wide this cutting is. I mean, it's not the deepest, but it's quite a wide one. So you've got the abandoned track bed just here. Got the retaining walls to the right. And those stone slabs at the top. So there we go, there's the track bed. You can see that where we're walking would have been at a lot lower level. Come to this bridge that would have carried Whitcliffe Road across the top of the line. It's actually got some red paint, coated in white and red paint. You can see the riveted steel. Look at the base, it's built out of stone here, and just up here, oh hello, you've got a the riveted supports at the bottom. Nice steel bridge. I mean, look how wide this was. I mean, this is the main track bed. It looks like there is a little diversion off onto some abandoned track bed up here. So you've got the greenway up that side. You can see how much they've made it a lot higher to convert it into the greenway. But look at this retaining wall, brilliant. So we'll walk along this section. Looks like at the bottom here you would have had some old drainage, potentially still is running. but you can see there's quite a few that run along this retaining wall. One there, yeah, there's quite a few that head along towards our next step. So look up back that way. There you can see the bridge. You can see the original track bed and the alignment of it. And the greenway definitely at a high level, but at this section here now, it's actually levelled out onto its original track bed as we head towards Low Moor station. Got an old concrete post here. Definitely an old school, an old railway fence post. Looks like it was potentially for cabling, and I bet you what, you would have had a lot more running across this wall here. Now the maps do state that around here that there was a signal box, and I'm assuming it was to control the track further down going towards the goods siding and Central station. But I believe that this was the site of the signal box by looking at the maps. It does look like it was flat ground, and it does feel that the bottom here, it does feel quite solid compared to the rest of the ground around here. Now there are no brick or stone remains, not that I can see anyway, but this was the spot of a signal box. See if there's any more relics remaining down here. Can't really see nothing, but yeah, I believe that there was a signal box just about where I am, probably just about here, because you would have needed space for the two lines that way. So I guess it was around here somewhere. Currently on quite a high embankment as you look back towards Cleckheaton Central station. Now the maps do state that there was a milestone post somewhere down here to the left, so if I could go over there and hopefully we can see if there's anything that remains, or if we could find a milestone post. Got a few old railway sleepers on the track bed just here. See two there, there's a snap one just down there, and then there's also quite a few embedded into the ground just here. So it looks like these ones potentially were never taken up. See one there, there's one here, you can see the chewed up one there, and they do kind of continue. Standing one right here, and another one there. So yeah, you're looking at the actual track alignment here. There is ballast actually still down on the ground, you can see all on the floor, and there's quite a lot more further along here. Now it does bug me as to why they never took these sleepers up. So they've obviously taken up the, there's actually a lot more down here that you can see more clearly. Yeah, look at this here. Absolutely loads of them. This is what we like to see. We are still on more of an abandoned section of the track bed. We've got a lot more railway sleepers to the left, over here on the ground. See just the greenway on the right there where they've converted the other side. See all the ballast on the ground. You've got some kind of wooden post here. Now it does state that there was a milestone post around here. I don't think that was it. And you can just see it on the left over there. There's that yellow thing on the tree there. It says we're 2 miles away from Low Moor, so this would have been the old milestone post. Look at this. See the concrete base. And that's how far we are away from Low Moor, so this would have given the train drivers the signal that they were almost at the station. Got an absolute load more railway sleepers in the ground. You can see all the ballast that's left just in the corner down there. Anyway, let's head on towards Low Moor. There you can see a lot more railway sleepers. All the ballast down. And don't know how long these continue for. See a lot more chewed up sleepers, all the ballast on the ground just down here. But we've also come across something else which we found, some red bricks. I'm not sure what these were. If you do know, please leave a comment. But potentially a plate layers hut, a cabin, some sort. Definitely not a signal box because it's not marked on the maps as well. Potential drainage, don't know because it's all covered up. If you do know if there was anything here, please do comment. I mean, look at this, we could go on again forever. More sleepers. It just does bug me to understand why they never took these up, but there's another one you can see on the ground. So that's looking back towards Cleckheaton and Murfield. Now you can see where the split between the greenway and the other track bed was. So we're going to continue on now towards Low Moor. We're coming up to a bridge. This bridge carries Huntsworth Road across the line, so there is an access onto the greenway. Stone bridge, the stone base here. See the drainage channel just up there. So like a pipe that comes down, so I'm guessing that's for drainage. Got some old concrete at the bottom, and then the stone at the top just up there. We're on top of the bridge. You can see the stone, concrete, and it looks like the inside was made out of brick. There's a view on the other side. Looks like there's been some modern repair work done. Doubt very much that this was originally part of the railway, and I don't think that this was original. That looks like more modern repair to the bridge for the greenway. Anyway, we're moving on towards Low Moor. We're onto an embankment, and there's that entry that came in from where I just showed you the bridge from the off. You can see we're on what was an embankment, because you can see the old boundary post just on the corner down there that marked the boundary of the railway. Down here you can see a lot of old railway sleepers that look like they put. I think this embankment was at a slightly wider level, and it's been slightly demolished by the looks of it. I could be wrong. They might have pushed all these sleepers off the side of the track bed just here, but look how many there are. It looks like the ground is actually sunk because the railway sleepers have all fallen down into the soil. You can see quite a lot down there. Then there you are, you can see the boundary just here. Nearly missed this, but just found here. I think it's another milestone post, but it says 3/4 of a mile, I believe, off Low Moor. Nearly missed it. Just had that rush of blood to look back. So we're moving on now towards another stone railway bridge. And I like the look of this one as we're coming up to it. Now it looks like we was in maybe a small cutting. You can see some boundary posts just up in the corner there. Look at that structure there. You can see all the keystones at the top. It doesn't carry any roads across it. I believe it's just a footbridge, but it's still in really good condition. It's nice old stonework. Nice look on the other side. Them wing walls. It does go off onto like a little skew, as you can see here. And it looks like we entered a little mini cutting. And we're now heading over a bridge that went over the M62. Come onto this bridge that carried the line across the M62, and I believe it was actually only a single track, so you can see by this photograph that I'm about to show up. There's also a photograph that I'm going to put up showing the construction of this bridge while it was being built. So here's a view of the bridge looking towards Low Moor. You see the concrete bases there, and they were built out of steel at the top. That's looking at the looking west, and that's looking east, or looking towards Leeds. I can see where the track alignment does continue. You can see the original track bed. This bit hasn't been converted. Looks like you've got some kind of retaining wall just down in the corner down there that runs along the side of the alignment of the track. So we're not too far away from Low Moor. Still see remains of some ballast that's been shoved to the corner on each side. See some more here. It looks like this section of the track bed's been untouched. So I'm currently on this bridge that crossed over the A58. So that'll be looking towards Wyke, I believe. So somewhere down there would have been where I finished my Pickle Bridge branch episodes. So if you haven't seen those videos, I will leave a link in the description below. So we're approaching Low Moor. We're not too far away. That's a view looking down towards the motorway. That's looking back towards Murfield onto a bit of an embankment here, so it's quite high up. I don't think this has got any railway relevance. We are coming towards another bridge. Found another railway sleeper just in the corner down there, and it looks like we have another one that's just been chewed up just down in the corner. I'm not sure if this is another milestone post, but we're not too far away from Low Moor. In fact, I believe it is. It says we're a quarter of a mile away. I don't know if you can just make that out. I've come to another bridge. Now we are on the site of well, almost on the site of a golf course. We can't really get on there with it being a golf course, but I'll just show you the bridge. It'd be nice to have a look from the outside. I would get the drone up, but the wind has just started to pick up. But there's a look back at the bridge, looking back towards Cleckheaton, and we're almost towards Low Moor. Got another rotted out railway sleeper just in the corner here. A couple of fence posts on the ground just down in the corner here. You can see down there there's a lot of boundary posts. So you can see we're on an embankment. So looking at both sides, you can see it's quite a big one. So we are onto another bridge. It does like it was potentially just a farmer's access bridge. You can see the tractor tyre marks just down there. But you can see the original riveted steel. It has been painted over, so I guess it would have looked a lot different, but you can see it's been painted for the greenway. It's a stone bridge. This is another milestone post, and we do have another one just to the right. Got a few railway sleepers that have just been shoved into this soil here, so as I would have moved some of the track bed, all this would have been just pushed to one side and just left here. Now it looks like we've entered into what was a cutting, a small cutting. Looks like the track bed potentially was slightly raised a little bit. But we are coming towards another bridge. I believe we're coming towards another little mini tunnel which was on the line cut, known as Oakenshaw Tunnel. Got here a retaining wall. Looks like it's seen a little bit of damage. There's a lot of ballast around as well. And we'll come here towards this other bridge. Got here another keystone bridge, pretty similar to the one you just saw earlier in the video. Kind of like this design. Now it looks like these structures were numbered from Low Moor going towards Murfield. So this looks like it was the third bridge going eastbound or southbound, however you want to look at it. Nice stone bridge, you can see a bit of soot at the top. Now we've entered into a cutting, going towards Oakenshaw Tunnel. Quite a substantial cutting this. Looking at it being about 40 feet. Got another bridge coming up in the distance. Got a couple more milestone posts. Now I'm getting confused because I swear I've already seen it say 3/4 miles back there. But you can see it up on there, there's one. And we go to the other side. Looking at what was another one, just here you can see it. Just here you can see we've got a similar design bridge to what you saw back there. So the third one, it's got the keystone design at the top. Got the wing walls at the side there. So we are into another cutting. There's that bridge I've just shown you back there. Like you see, the track would have been at a lot lower level. The greenway's clearly been higher in this section. You can see the top of the cutting just here. So we're coming towards the Oakenshaw Tunnel. So here we are, Oakenshaw Tunnel. You can see the keystone arch at the top. It's probably about 100 yards, I guess. You see this stone wall on the outside. I'm not sure what that cabling is meant for. See at the top here, we've got some drainage just there. And we can call this another tunnel ticked off. Been on the tunnels again recently. Got a couple of chain markers. Fully made out of stone, as you can see, from top to bottom. And another chain marker. Few fence posts in the corner you can just see. There's one there. There's a few going back. So we're roughly about half a mile away from Low Moor. Now, when the line did close to passengers, it did actually continue as a goods line between Low Moor down towards Thornhill Junction before it did actually close. You can see a few more salvage railway sleepers that have been used to build this fence. You can see a couple more here. We've got a lot of remaining ballast. Here's a closer look at the sleeper fence. Pretty similar to the one that you saw in part 2. And you can see these have seen better days also. See how they just kind of go along the side of the track bed. There's a lot of salvage sleepers that still continue along the side of the track bed. Now there did used to be a gasworks down here somewhere, and I believe somewhere around here was a location, because if you just take a look over there you can see it's all fenced off. So I believe this was all the site of the gasworks. There are a few building remnants down there, but we're not going to go down there. So we are onto now an embankment. We are getting close now towards the station Low Moor. And obviously there is now a current operating Low Moor station. Now this site here, where you can see all these shipping containers, these HGV wagons, used to be the site of some sidings. Now somewhere around here there would have been a signal box. Now I can't really find any remains, but we do have something that you'll be able to see that shows remnants of this being the sidings. Now there did used to be a signal box around here that used to control the sidings. Now we do have some red brick. You can just see it here, so I wonder if this was part of the signal box, because it was said to be around here. If you have a look at the maps, you can see remnants of sleepers still down in the ground. There's another one there. And there's another one here. And there's another one just here. You can see them going further down. So I wonder if this was part of the extensive sidings. You See all the shipping containers and the HGV wagons. Looks like it's Shipley transport. Now Low Moor station, the current one, is somewhere just over here as we get to it. So we are at the site of the current Low Moor station. This opened in 2017, so it wasn't the original station. So the original station opened in 1848, so this would have been like a triangle. So you can see some filled in bridges. You can see just one down there in the corner and then one down here. So the original station that opened in 1848 would have just been located past that bridge. You can see it was really busy around here. There's another bridge there that would have branched onto our line. So this is the end of this Spen Valley Greenway. So that's where we've basically done the whole of the series. This is where it would have ended. Obviously the Low Moor station has been rebuilt. So it's only 7 years old, 8 years old. So our triangle, so I did point out that down there was a signal box that branched onto a junction, and here you would have had a load of sidings and then another track that would have branched off here. So all this would have been a massive triangle, and a lot of the original track has been filled in, you can see, to convert this into its current railway station. Yeah, you can see here where there's been a lot of reclamation work to convert this into its current station. The line would have probably ran through here somewhere, because we are looking at where there's a filled in bridge just down here. If we just pan the camera, this would have been at a lower level. You can see filled in bridge. Now I do believe what you can see here is what I showed you earlier on, where all the shipping containers were, and I believe that this is the view of what we'll be looking at now. You can see all the lines passing through triangle going towards Bradford, and all this here was a massive load of siding. I believe it was called Low Moor sidings. If you take note of this early 1830s to 1880s map, you can clearly see the Cleckheaton branch before the sidings were built to connect with the old Low Moor station. Fast forward to the 1888 map, you can clearly see the same location where the sidings were built, connecting with the Bradford to Leeds line. You can clearly see the sidings just before you get to the site of the current Low Moor station. Here would have been our junction back down towards on the Spen Valley line, where we just ended the video. And over there's the site of the original Low Moor station. So the station buildings would have just been over there. This would have been a very, very busy area with railways, and I believe there was an old engine shed just located just beyond where those trees are, just down there. You can see a lot of old railway walling. So this station here would have had a mass load of sidings. And just to the left here, there would have been the site of a gasworks. And down there is the site of our original station that opened in 1848. So I'm guessing that there was the two platforms split on either side, just roughly around there. You probably can see the base of an old station building. The engine shed would have just been in the background just over there. That station opened on the 18th of July 1848. It closed on the 14th of June in 1965 to passengers. And then the current site of the new station and the site of the current new station opened in 2017. Hope you did enjoy all 3 of the episodes. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like railway history. Take care, I'll see you again, take care, bye bye.